One, we're all here. And I want to thank Claude for, he's up at now at 7 o'clock in the morning in San Diego. And so this is outside of his normal deal that he does. And so we're very, very grateful for him willing to spend this time with us. So thank you very much, Claude. And now I'm going to turn it over to you. I won't take any more of your time. Thank you, sir.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I love sales. I think the most, important thing, we're all in the business of persuading somebody, of engaging somebody in a spontaneous conversation. So, and it's real simple. And most of the stuff that I teach is common sense, really. I've studied a lot of psychology. I'm the weird old guy who goes into the Walmart and I look at what people put in their shopping carts. I look the way they react with their children. I see the way husband and wife shop. I look at the airports and things like that. I observe people all the time. And just a little bit of background here. I'm the former world's worst salesperson. Okay, can I tell the truth to everybody? Somebody smile and
Yeah.
say yes. Okay, Rachel, you look so serious this morning. What happened? You have a $1 million smile. Use it. And the thing about it is, if we have a good smile, thank you, George. If we have did you ever talk to somebody and their smile comes through the phone? This is real important. Sounds real simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I spoke to a customer service person the other day, and she was so nice and so natural. She wasn't scripted. She just was to help me, and she was very polite, very pleasant. And I told her, I can see I'm on the phone with you, but I can still see your smile. Did you ever instantly fall in love with somebody? I mean, they touched your soul. They just made you feel good. And I think that's the business we're in, okay? I hope this makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's so early in the morning and it's my first cup of coffee. But I was a horrible salesperson. I used to just read scripts and I like to give people a lot of facts and things like that. And I had a mentor and I saw him and I studied a lot about success and communication and conversation and stuff. And I met this one gentleman and I saw him on the phone and he would close people in one phone call or get appointments or get into nice conversation. Can this business be fun? It actually can when you're engaging. Has everybody here spoken to that one person where you had a good conversation? You made the
Hmm.
appointment and everything else like that. And I think that's what we have to challenge ourselves to do, to get into good conversation. It makes your job a lot more fun. You get a lot more success. And this is where I get a little bit controversial, and you can disagree. Everything I say is just from my own beliefs and everything else. I think we have to get off the script a lot of time. And I don't want to get anybody in trouble here because I know this is a telemarketing group and they use a lot of scripts. But I believe that a lot of times we need to experiment and open up with people and sound different from our competition and engage people. Tell me how I can help you. What is the biggest challenge here? Oh, I'm returning a call. Attorney Hanko asked me to make a phone call to you today, and he has one opening for Thursday. I don't know if you'd like to take advantage of it. He wants to help you recover some of the money you lost in your foreclosure. That wouldn't be of interest to you today, would it? Notice I said that wouldn't be of interest. I use a lot of pattern interrupts. For those of you, I think this is our third or fourth phone call. A lot of times I open up with things completely different with people, and I use redirection. Redirection is kind of a fancy word for just reverse psychology. You wouldn't be interested in speaking with Mr. Hanko today, would you, to see if he could possibly recover some of your money? You wouldn't be interested in that, would you? Now, why do we go in the opposite direction? Because things in motion stay in motion, Sir Isaac Newton. So if we go hard negative, it's the natural human behavior to go in the opposite direction. If we go hard positive sometimes, oh, this always works. This is the best car. This is the best restaurant. No, my restaurant is much better. My car is much better. People, and same thing when we go hard negative, we want people to respond positively. So when you're making appointments with people, you might want to add in the benefit and say you wouldn't be interested in speaking with Attorney George today. He has one opening, scarcity, little psychology there. And you wouldn't be interested in speaking with him so that he could help you recover, maybe possibly recover some of the money you lost in your foreclosure, because he's an expert in this area. How would you feel about that? We always end in questions too. Why do we end in questions? Anybody know? I don't want to do all the talking here and be boring.
So that you can control the conversation and that you have control over the conversation and sort of the outcome. And
Yeah.
it's also engaging. You don't want to just be talking, you want them to respond.
Excellent. Excellent. You want people in anybody, has everybody here made the salesperson? Okay. You said hello, and then they just went on and on and on and on. And okay. And people have very short attention spans today, as everybody in this room knows. Okay. So you want to get them emotionally, notice the word I used, emotionally involved in the conversation. Guess what happens when people get involved? Or what's the word George used? Engaged in the
Engage.
conversation. Okay. You have an opportunity to close them. Okay. I define closing as making a sale, getting a yes, getting an appointment. In your case, I believe it's just it's getting an appointment, which is getting harder and harder to do in business. Okay, so they have to get emotionally involved to see the benefit. What's the emotion? The recovery of some of the money they lost in the foreclosure process. So these are the things you can do, engaging people in conversation. So that's my opener. I just wanted to throw a few things out there this morning. Is there any particular question or role play anybody would like to do this, or topic we'd like to talk about?
Can I ask you to just address something along the line, continuing what you were talking about? And I'll just use it sort of that it's up to the caller to take responsibility for the call. And by asking the questions and continuing the conversation, because there's another person, it's one of the other trainers, his name is Jeremy Miner. He basically says, look, if you are not, by using your questions and controlling it, one thing is it helps prevent objections from coming up in the first place. The second thing is that it also puts you in control. And it's like using your example of the dentist or the doctor or something like that, and making the diagnosis, that you're asking questions, are willing. And so they engage and you continue the conversation. But by the questions you ask, by the tone, by the pacing, you're the one that's really in charge of the conversation.
That's a really good point. Asking questions is very important. Asking questions, there's a lot of different ways to ask questions, okay? And I'll talk about, and that's a really good point. But you got to be careful with questions. Here's the danger. Nobody wants to be cross-examined. Nobody wants to be on the witness stand in a courtroom, or when a policeman, God forbid, pulls you over for driving too fast, okay? Nobody likes to be asked a lot of questions. It can be seen as intrusive, to use a $10 word. Somebody's trying to learn about me and my private life and my finances and things, and that's none of their business. It's an invasion of privacy. So here's the takeaway. Questions can be abrasive unless you know how to ask the questions. Okay, this is where where I get a little bit more specific here. When you ask questions, we combine them with things that we call, and we talked about this, I think, a little last week. We talked about stroking, nurturing, and empathy. These are three, if you're taking notes, these are three. Somebody asked me a question. Anadrea asked me, you're always great on these role plays. Anadrea asked me a question. Why is my shirt blue? Anything, what's my anything?
What's your favorite color?
I like blue. That's my favorite color. Now, that's interesting that you asked me that. Thank you. Why is that important? How does that relate to our business today? What did I just do? What did I just do?
You stroke them.
Okay. And what's a stroke? Let's define stroke here for new people. A stroke is go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Claude. I'm sorry. You're the instructor. You're the expert.
I sometimes monopolize. I love teaching this stuff. I love talking about it because it changed my life financially. It made me a much happier person. How many people here believe me? Come on. All of you who are hiding, who don't have your video on, shame on you. Okay, because I like participation. Thank you, Monica. I love that part. How many people here believe that I was the shy guy?
Yeah.
I really was. You can ask my wife. Okay. And Andrea, you're laughing, but it's true. And I became a much happier person when I started speaking my mind, being a little bit more outgoing. I became like that old, as everybody have that old grandma, and she just says whatever she thinks all the time, okay? And everybody laughs and it's embarrassing a lot of times. I became that person somehow. I flipped a switch. The filters got removed. I became much happier, much more confident. I embarrassed the heck out of my kids and my wife all the time and myself. I also became a lot wealthier, okay? Big takeaway there. I think people like people who communicate, who are real, who are a little bit more, not normal, well, a little more outgoing. And so I talk to
Authentic.
authentic. Thank you. You saved me. Thank you. Okay, they removed the filter. And so I'm telling you to all become old grandma. And sometimes within, you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or say something that may be considered rude or something like that. But sometimes, did you ever hear somebody say something and say, I was just thinking of that? I'm so glad you said that. I want you to become that person because I think people like that person. I think you become much more persuasive when you become that person. I think you're perceived as much more honest also. Okay. What is the perception of salespeople for the most part? When a salesperson calls us, we're all salespeople in this room, phone callers, telemarketers, persuaders. The perception is a lot of times they want to sell me something. They want to control me, manipulate me. They want my hand to be they want their hand on my wallet. Okay. But we've all had experiences with people who we know, we like, we trust. And how do we become that person in a conversation? If you can master and practice, I practice this skill every day. Okay. I see somebody in the supermarket with 10 jars of pickles or some, gee, is there a sale on pickles? You must really like pickles. Or are pickles, are you on a pickle diet? I will engage people. Here's a rule. People will not initiate conversations, but they love to be engaged. Anybody ever notice that? You ever see people, you go past them, they don't look at you, no eye contact, they look away. But if you go to them and you say something, not everybody, but a lot of people will be engaging with you. Okay. And that's our job. When we engage people, our opportunity to close goes substantially through the roof. Does anyone agree or disagree with that? It's okay. I'm open to new thoughts and opinions here. So one of the ways we ask questions to get back on our topic is to stroke a natural compliment. We say, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. I appreciate, that's interesting. Why is the color of my shirt? You must have brought that up for a reason. You're not looking for shirts right now, are you? Because I have the supply of shirts, and I think I can talk to my manager and get you an early delivery with a discount. You wouldn't be interested in that, would you? Boom. You can use it to turn the conversation and get into the control part. There's a thing called nurturing. Nurturing is when you make it emotional. Here, a little special effects here. How about that, huh? When you make something emotional, what happens to us when we become emotional? Do you think we make decisions? How many people here? Everybody's on truth serum right now. Okay, how many people here make decisions very quickly when we become emotionally involved? Besides me. Okay, yes, let's do that. You're right. Boom. We don't think logically. The brain kind of shuts off when we become emotional. Do you ever hear the expression, you wear your heart on your sleeve? Okay. So when talking to people, if we can tell a story or say, I can't imagine how hard it was for you losing your home and everything. And George, Attorney Hanko, specializes in helping people like yourself recover some of the equity in your home. Would you like a free conversation with him for a few minutes? And maybe he can help. What would happen if you could recover some of those money, pay some bills, and maybe get on with your life? I don't know if that's important to you. How do you feel about that?
Mm.
Okay. Are we winning people over when we get into good conversations? Of course we are. And that's the key. Rather, what most salespeople do is they give a lot of facts and figures, the more scripted kind of conversation. My job, what I discovered in my life is that if I can engage a few people every day in a conversation, not for 45, 60 minutes, we don't have the time for that. Okay. Unless it's a really good prospect. Okay. I'm in real estate. So a lot of times if I get into a good conversation with somebody and I've qualified them, the opportunities exist for me to persuade them and do that. But we want to talk to a lot of people. We want to make them feel comfortable. We want them to engage. We do that by asking questions. And that leads to sometimes bonding. When I talked earlier about when that prospect likes you, when they trust you, the mountaintop of sales, persuasion, and influence is when we bond with people. When someone just says, I like this person. I feel good about Lara today. Lara seems like a really nice person. I can see her smile on the telephone today. I think maybe Lara is real. Maybe Lara, she seems genuine. She's going to help me and put me together with this good attorney and help me to and help me to recover some of my money from my grandmother's home. When you get that trust thing, then it's a beautiful thing, right? Because they'll listen to you, they'll follow your instructions, they'll keep their appointments. Boy, that was a long one. I'm sorry, but I'm hoping this kind of helps you to use different conversational techniques to get better results.
It does, Claude. I think it's really, really helpful to everyone. One of the things is that you've addressed in part of your training is whenever, I'm just going to call it like the elephant in the room, that you have a way to talk about it, like maybe they're hesitant to, but it's something like you have, I'm just going to call it like your spidey sense. In other words, like whenever, just say you left a dinner thing at night and it was 10 o'clock at night and it was dark and you're walking to your car, you can't see anything danger, you can't see, but you have this sense that something isn't right. You don't know what it is, but then it's like, let me just ignore it. And it's sort of like the same thing when you're talking to somebody. Could you talk about really in other words, you don't want them to go away with that hesitancy or whatever, that elephant in the room hasn't been addressed, but you address it in a way that you talk, I think you used it during your training, having an adult conversation.
Having an adult conversation and being instinctual, another $10 word. Sometimes just do you ever go by your instincts? You know, you get this feeling with people sometimes, okay? Do you ever get a feeling before, maybe I should get in the car today? Maybe I shouldn't make this phone call. Maybe I shouldn't do something. Does anyone here instinctual can be dangerous. It can go to OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder also, right? How many people besides me have that? Okay. The thing about it is, go by your instincts with people when you talk to them. Engage them in a conversation. And I do here's a little reverse psychology thing I do. I go, it's okay to say no to me, but this is what George, Attorney Hanko, specializes in. And if you talk to him for a few minutes, 5-10 minutes, and there's no cost involved in it, maybe he can help you recover some of that money. I don't know if would you like to do that? It's okay to say no. George asked me to call you, and he has one opening today at 4:15. Would you like to grab that before someone else does? Boom. Scarcity. You don't sound like you're selling used cars, okay? Apologies to all used car salesmen. So these are the things we can do. Be natural, throw away the script, engage people, and sound different. How many people here open up the sound, say the exact same thing every time they make a phone call? Hi, how are you today? Just reaching out. What do you think the prospect thinks when you open up like that?
Salesperson,
danger. Oh no, this is a person who wants to take my money or time or something like that. Whereas when we use a thing called pattern interrupts, we've talked about that in previous conversations where you get the person, it's hard enough to get somebody on the phone today. When you do get them on the phone, use a different opener. Experiment a little, instinctually. Go by ring, somebody say hello.
hello.
Yeah. Oh, is this George, Mr. Hanko?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
George, oh, I'm so glad I got you. The attorney asked me to call you to speak. I'm sorry, I only have a minute of time. He wanted me to see if you were available for a 10-minute appointment today to see if we could help you recover at no cost some of the equity in your home. Would you be interested in moving forward with that today?
You said attorney. Am I in some kind of a
No,
trouble?
no. I work for Attorney Smith, and she wants to help people like yourself recover equity at no cost.
No cost at all?
At no cost. You have my word on that, honestly. It's a
You
free
mean this
phone.
is a free obligation? I get to talk to an attorney free?
It's no obligation at all. He's an expert, a specialist in this, and he asked me to personally call you to see because your name came up on his desk, and he believes that he can possibly, if we can get a little conversation with you going, help you to recover some of your asset, your equity in your home. Would you like to do that today at 4:15? I only have one opening. I'm sorry.
Sure, if it's that one opening, I'll take that 4:15 opening. Absolutely. Thank
That's
you.
great. Let me write down some information. Thank you. You've been so nice on the phone. I know I called out of nowhere here. It's such a crazy busy day. And you will absolutely call this number 1234 at 4:15 today, right?
Yeah, matter of fact, I'm so happy that you called. This
Uh,
sounds like some good news for me.
gosh, if off the role play, if only every prospect sounded like you're being right.
Yeah, we're just role playing.
I know. I know. It's funny though, in role play, sometimes we're on our best behavior, right?
Yeah.
We wish everybody sounded like this, right?
Well, you have to learn how to do this before you go into the real hard, objections and everything. You learn the first steps and then you learn whenever there's really hard objections, that's sort of at a different kind of, it's a little bit more challenging, but I think you have to learn these fundamentals that you're teaching, the basic without the really, really hard objections. In other words, to see how a role play can go, and it's by asking the right questions and guiding them that you get them where you want them to go, meaning the ultimate close is getting the appointment and getting the commitment for them to show up.
Exactly. You ladies, and I think there's one gentleman in the room, you have one of the hardest jobs in the world, okay? Did everybody here when when we were all kids, children, how many of us, our mom said, don't talk to strangers? Everyone, I hope, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we grow up in the big bad world and we have to talk to strangers. Daniela has a question. Go ahead, Daniela. Or did it?
No. You asked a question before that, so I raised my hand.
Oh, did I
just
answer? Okay, this is a hard, Danielle, this is a hard job. We have to talk to total strangers who are not always nice to us, right?
Right.
I mean, how many of us have had somebody who's, take me off your list, leave me alone, you're the 10th person to call, click. How many of us have had that experience? Everybody, right?
Yeah.
I've
I
had,
think all of us.
yes.
all of us
Lord,
have had
all of
that.
us.
And let's be real honest here, super honest. How does that affect us when people are nasty to us all day long?
We feel bad, negative.
Yes. Can I say the truth here? Or am I going too
Yes.
far? Am I pushing it
No,
too far?
you tell the truth.
Yeah, let's see if I can get my rain cloud going. No, it's not working. I have a rain cloud that comes on my head here. So the thing is, how do we turn this into fun? Seriously, how do we engage people and we get that one good conversation and it kind of erases all the bad stuff, doesn't it? And we want more of those good conversations. In order to get there, we need to use a sales system. We have to learn how to ask questions, open and closed-ended questions. We have to blend them with stroking, nurturing, and empathy. We sometimes have fun. Say the thing that you're holding back. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm like the devil in a little red suit. Just picture me on your shoulder. I'm in a little red suit and I'm saying, go ahead, do it, do it. Have fun with the conversation. When you make somebody laugh or you get somebody emotionally involved, oh yeah, it was horrible to lose my home, my grandmother's home. If you could help me recover some of the money, that'd be great. Thank you for calling. Don't you love when you get that positive response from people? We love that, don't we? Okay.
Yes.
And what does that do to us emotionally when we get positive responses? Anybody?
Makes
For
us feel
me,
better.
I think satisfied and
Yeah, great. Feel better. Correct.
It makes us feel better and it motivates us. How do you get
Yep.
motivated?
If you're
Listening to
happy.
how do you get happy? How do you get motivated? You get good responses, you get results, you get rewarded. We need gratification. I'm a person who needs gratification. I can't just work, work, and work without a reward. And am I an oddball? Is that just me?
No, I think that this is very important, Claude, that you go over how it's important that they have fun and it to be fun. Yes, it is a job. Yes, there are negative things, but I really like this that you're going over. It's really to have fun, and it really is a very, very, very important job. It's difficult, but the idea is that when you learn these skills that Claude is teaching, that you really, truly can have fun engaging the people. And it's just like what Claude says, and if you can go over this a little bit more, whenever you go to the grocery store, I've even taken up what Claude does. I talk to a total stranger. I might comment about what's in their cart because it gets me practice and it's safe practice and it doesn't matter. So if you can sort of address those kind of things, Claude, about having fun, how really important, because without sales and without this, nothing else happens.
It's the art, it's the lost art of conversation. You know,
Mhm.
we all have so much technology. We want to text, we want to email. We've lost the ability, this is my opinion, to directly engage people on a consistent daily basis. We've lost that skill. We've had too many people tell us that we can automate everything, that we can just read the same script to hundreds, thousands of people and engage them. It takes a lot more work than that. Okay. And the beauty of this, the beauty of focusing on engaging people, and what George said is really, it's really. I talk to the Walmart greeter. Okay, I go to that person, that nice person in the front of the store. A lot of people just walk. Hi, how are you? Did you go to greeter school? How did you learn to stand in front of the store and engage? I say silly things. I see somebody walking a dog just for the heck of it. If it's a cute dog and the tail's wagged, I say, "Oh, what a cute dog! Can I pet it? Oh, what kind of dog is this? Oh, what a nice person. How did you pick a dog like I'm that annoying person. Yes, I am. Okay. But I'm practicing my skills. Okay. And if you can, it's the common sense approach to sales. The more people you can engage, the more people, when someone's listening to you or engaging with you. And it just makes sales easier. You'll get better results. You get more closings because people do business, common sense again. People do business with people they like. In a competitive world, there's so many competitors. There's so many people doing what you do out there. But how many of them, and people have a default mode when they hear the same scripted person calling all the time. And they dismiss us very quickly. But if we learn the art and science of persuasion and influence and practice it, that's why I developed my gut sales method. Great untraditional, unorthodox techniques of sales. Learning to engage a few prospects every day and get into a few conversations. It'll keep you motivated. You'll get much better results on it. You'll enjoy your job a lot more,
Yeah.
I mean, how many people here? Maybe I shouldn't say what I'm going to say next, but
No,
okay.
go ahead, say
I'm going
it.
to say it anyway. How many of you get up in the morning? Oh boy, today I get to make 1,000 phone calls to people who don't like me. Oh, okay. Is that too? I shouldn't have said that, right?
No, that's perfectly great. It's
Okay.
because we want them to have fun. And by learning the skills that you do, you get less and less of those resistance calls. And it gets to be more and more fun and enjoyable. And by like what you said, is practicing at the store, the Walmart greeter, whatever.
Everywhere.
It gets used to talking to people.
Practice on the phone with people. Use those different pattern. And next time we talk, I think we'll maybe make a note, George. We'll just work on pattern interrupts. We did a little of it, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
We'll do different openers, different ways to engage people rather than just say, "Hi, how are you today?" Or whatever, "Hey, how's your day going? Hi, can I have a minute of your time?" What do you think you're saying to that? What do you think's going on in the prospect's mind who you call up and engage like that in the first 5 seconds? Anybody.
It engages their fight or flight response.
What do you think's going through their mind when you go?
What are you selling me? How much
Another
money do you want
telemarketing
from me?
call.
Say again, Kai?
Another telemarketing call.
It's another telemarketing. You know, we all think we're unique and we're the first person to call them. Is that the truth?
No.
You know, maybe we're unique, but we're not the first person to call. But, you know, if we engage people through different techniques, experiment with different openers, use different forms of theater, acting ability, okay, and different aspects of human response, psychology, we'll get better results. When we get better results, we're much more successful and we have a lot more fun at work.
Can you also address something that I think is very important? I think you've done in your training is, although we don't have scripts, we have sort of an overall framework. But when we have that framework, it's not like for someone like Laura to be George or Kai to be George. What they have to do is be the best version of themselves, and they have to incorporate all the teachings and to be themselves and to be natural, however they engage with people.
The good point. Thank you. The thing about it is, here's the $1 million rules. Everybody I always have a little pad and pencil here. Everybody write this down. It's the $1 million rule. It'll make you very successful. It'll get you much better. I don't know if you want to hear this. Should I share this?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
People, this is the $1 million rule. I learned this from my mentor. No one ever taught me this. I've gone to college, business school. I've gone to every seminar. I've read all the success books, and nobody ever taught me what my one mentor, sweet old guy from New Jersey, taught me. He said, people make immediate, very important word, immediate decisions emotionally. They'll justify, here's the second part, they'll justify those decisions intellectually, academically, logically, after the fact. Okay, people make immediate business decisions emotionally. But how do most people sell?
Factually,
a lot of facts and figures. We have this house for sale and it's 18 by 25 square foot in the bathroom, and it comes with all these fixtures and everything like that, rather than saying, hey, would you like, imagine you have a home here with this fireplace and it's a cold winter day. Do you ever have cold winter days in the Philippines? Silly question of the day. Does it ever get cold in the Philippines?
No, sir.
No,
not really.
You don't get
Not really, yes.
you don't get
Just
snow
a very
days.
short time.
The thing about it is we have to take responsibility to make it as emotional in the beginning as possible. We do that by what we talked about, getting them talking, telling stories that relate to their needs, getting them participating in the conversation. You will still have to, of course, give the facts and figures and things of the product or service that you're relating to a certain degree. But the thing about it is people make decisions emotionally. They go to sleep when you give them the same old tired facts and figure presentation. They didn't wake up this morning and say, I want to talk to a strange salesperson who's giving me a lot of, who's just talking about their product or service forever. They have to relate on an emotional level somehow. Okay. And that is the $1 million rule. Okay. It's easy to say, it's hard to do and learn. That comes through repetition, practicing, studying human behavior, some of the things that I've talked about. George, did you give the people in this room any of my books that I could that I sent you? I'd be glad to.
Manual, but I think it would be helpful to have anything that you can suggest, other books for them, and then I will share it with them, the ones that you've given to me.
Some of the rules I talked about today are in this book. I'll be glad to say the rules of the gut sales method.
Yes.
This was my academic book, How to Sell with Guts. I'm sorry, this camera's not adjusted.
No, that's great. They have access to that second book.
And I'm a reader, so I like to write books. These are my two novels. These are about poor schnooks, people, rags to riches stories, people who had trouble in sales. They met this crazy guy in California, and he talked about sales and how to sell and everything, and they turned their life around. So I like happy endings. Okay.
Can we get, if you send me those two, well, actually, if you send them all four of them, I'll pass them on and we'll upload them into our library we have a library, we have your entire folder, the Guts Method, we have all your videos, all of these that have been recorded and transcribed. We put all of them in there.
Too many. There's about 2,300 on YouTube alone.
No, but I'm talking about your 28 ones, your
Okay.
28
Oh, yeah.
that are the 1 minute. That's already up there.
Okay.
But all those others, yeah, it's not those. But if you wouldn't mind, I'll look at it because I'm sure that you shared those books with me. But if you wouldn't mind,
I'll send you the Dropbox link. Okay.
thank you.
And it's all
And then I'll upload them.
and everybody can download it. And the one book is an audio also. It's an audio book. So,
Okay.
but if they're short, they're to the point. It kind of like today's meeting, just and you guys sucked me in. This was supposed to be a 30-minute meeting and it's 38 minutes already. But it's fun to talk about sales. It's fun we can do next time we meet, we'll do some role plays too. Save me your stalls, your objections. Save me the rudest, the worst prospect you ever had, or the craziest questions they ask you. Write them down and save them. And next time we'll role play them out, okay? We'll have some fun. Anybody have a question before we go? Anything?
Sir, this is in relation to I have a question. This is in relation to the questions. You said it is very important to ask questions to keep them engaged. But my question is because I'm not a natural English speaker, so there are a lot of things that I don't know what to say, something like that. And sometimes the prospects are giving little to very, very short answers. And it is very challenging for me to think of some questions because I think it might overwhelm them. So my question is there anything that we can do about those prospects?
Practice a lot. Okay. So yeah, we've all met, and I think, Rachel, thank you for asking that. I think we've all met the prospect who it's like the worst. Anybody here ever go on the worst blind date in their life? Okay. The person you're trying to, where there's that silence, that agonizing silence. And has anyone gone on that bad date besides me? Okay. And it's you. Laura raised her hand. The thing about it is we've all met that person that goes, yes, no, uh-huh. Even their voice goes down a couple octaves when they answer questions and everything. They're no ball of fire. Okay. That's where a great salesperson, a great persuader takes responsibility. You have to ask what we call open-ended questions that can't be answered by yes, no, uh-huh. Rachel, you said yes before. What did you mean by that? Did you want to meet with George? Did you want to meet with George today on that one appointment we have available? How did you feel? What did you think about that? Right, maybe he could imagine for a moment he could help you to recover some of the money on your lost home, that unfortunate incident. How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I will be very interested in that, and I will be very happy because someone can help me on this
Thank
on
you.
this job.
Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate your openness and honesty. And what I can do right now, if you'd like, would you like me? I can schedule with you for George for 4:15. Is that convenient for you? Because that's his only opening today. But maybe imagine he could help you recover some of the money on your home. What a great conversation that. What do you think? Can we do that?
Yes, I
What?
can do that.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay,
I'll
good.
make it.
Thank you. To answer your question, Rachel, practice open-ended questions blended with what we talked about, the stroking and the nurturing. Thank you. That was great. I appreciate your response. Reward them. They might be as nervous as you. They might be very nervous. They may be very cautious because they've received so many phone calls, so many emails, so many texts. You have to be a little bit empathetic. Put yourself in other people's shoes. They're inundated with marketing on a daily basis. And then we call them up. Hi, here I am. The thing about it is, we have to get a different reaction. So we have to engage them in such a way they think, well, this is a nice person. Maybe this is the right person who can help me. Maybe, I feel good about this person. This was a nice, we've all met that person. We have to work towards it, Rachel, and it's not, and it takes time, and it's hard. What I'm talking about, this is hard. It's difficult because if we get too much rejection, as I said earlier, it becomes work. Sales can actually become fun, engaging with people. It's like a chess match. Let me try this. Let me try that. You have to build, what the answer is? You got to build your confidence to such a degree that that the negative people don't affect you as much. It's hard. Monica, I love your facial expressions. Thank you. You're the person I always love in the front of the audience. Okay. You smile and you nod your head, and so thank you. I like that. Did you have a question? Because
No, I just turned to my son and asked, you do that, don't you?
Well, Claude, just to let you know, Monica now's come on board here. And her and I worked together at the Office of Inspector General for over 10 years. So she was my legal assistant, my investigator. She was the best investigator in the state at the Office of Inspector General, auditor. I mean, just my right-hand person, and was really a lot responsible for my success here at the Office of Inspector General. And we worked together, and we settled over $150 million in cases together. So I'm so happy to have Monica on board and working with our whole team and with Laura and everybody. So I just wanted to introduce you to her. And then also Carlos is her son.
Hi, Carlos.
Hi.
Monica, you're an investigator. What's the best way to get you have to get information from people you're investigating. You got to get them to lower the drawbridge, right? Sometimes.
Yes.
You could probably share a lot of different techniques, because a lot of people are very cautious, and they don't want to get in trouble or somebody else in trouble. How do you get people? What's your last word? What's your techniques for getting people to open up?
My strength is investigating members or Medicaid members or clients, like the parents, guardians. And the best way is, because I am a mom, it's really easy to empathize. And I think the big thing for me is get to know them, ask about them. Oh, how are you? What is your day like? Make it personable. And then segue into whatever it is that you're talking about, but throw the questions in as part of the conversation, but not a list of questions.
Yeah, not sound like you're cross-examining them on the witness stand, right?
Correct.
Absolutely. We went long today. I apologize, but it's a fun. Did we learn anything? Did we have some fun here? Okay.
Absolutely, Claude.
Good.
And I want to thank you, because all of these sessions are really, really great. They help everybody. And just to let you know, I mean, after we get finished with every single session, everybody reaches out to me and lets me know how much they love all the training from you. And they really, really, have a lot of respect for you and the information.
Oh, sure.
So seriously, thank you very much. They all love. That's how come we love these sessions.
Oh, well, they're fun, and I thank you guys. You guys are always showing up on time, and you're $1 million smiles. Thank you. Sales is the $1 million skill. Practice it. Utilize some of the things we talk about today. Tell stories. Make it emotional. Kind of fly off the seat of your pants. Just get away from the script and experiment with different ways. Like Monica was talking about before, try different questions, be empathetic. I know how you feel. Try to find those moments where you can connect with people, and when somebody who lost a home, and a lot of people are calling them up and everything, you say, what we're in the business of helping people like you recover money, recover some of your assets, and we don't charge anything. So you have a lot of good stuff to say in the very beginning to maybe remove the doubts or the caution that they all have. So experiment with a lot of, and talk to the Walmart greeter. Okay. Absolutely. Everybody happy Easter. Is it Easter in the Philippines already? Is it?
Yes.
And you got these beautiful young ladies and gentlemen working on Easter Sunday. Oh, Thank you, everybody. Have a nice
Thank you,
holiday.
Jerry.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Thank you,
Happy,
Claude.
happy Easter, Claude.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Claude.
Bye.